very probabilistic, but with contextual relevance.
Inside Google's DeepMind project, how AI is learning on its own. Since the age of modern development, we have been introduced to new technology that looks pretty fictitious, yet it is becoming a reality. That too very rapidly, with the ability to learn on its own. Google's artificial intelligence project, DeepMind, is indeed a fascinating and one-of-a-kind development in its field. Inside Google's DeepMind project, how AI is learning on its own. Needless to say, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel always to be updated with the latest trending tech news. Do you know where, when, and how did it all begin? Let's give you a brief overview of Project DeepMind. DeepMind was founded in 2010 when organizations were not as interested in artificial intelligence as they are now, bringing together different fields including machine learning, neuroscience, engineering, mathematics, simulation, and computing infrastructure, along with new ways of organizing scientific endeavors. In 2014, after a series of successful computer games testing in the previous years, DeepMind merged with Google for rapid development in AI. Their programs can diagnose eye diseases as accurately as world-renowned doctors, from scientific breakthroughs to solving real-world problems. DeepMind has progressed a lot in recent years. Now let's dig deeper to explore how DeepMind learns on its own, just like you and me. The algorithm started as two distinct neural networks. One handles image recognition and the other handles audio. The image networks was shown parts from videos, and the audio neural network was fed with 1-second clips from the video. A third network then compared these images with audio clips to learn which sounds correspond to which video stills. It then learned to recognize audio and visual concepts, including crowds, tap dancing, and running water, without a specific label for such a concept. This meant that you could show it a new picture of someone clapping, for instance, and it would associate the sound of clapping with it. Cool, isn't it? This kind of unsupervised self-learning gives AI the tools to operate in the real world, learning about what's happening around it from what it sees and hears. That thought may worry some people, but for now, you can be safe in the knowledge that everything going on the DeepMind HQ is happening well away from the internet and interacting with the real world. It is, however, just one way that robots could learn to rise and enslave us all. It could be a Terminator happening all over again. In other news, this might get AI pessimists feeling nervous. DeepMind has taught itself how to walk. No, it doesn't mean the supercomputer runs around the office, but it does mean that the AI understands how the movement of limbs work and essentially how walking works. While it is not a big deal for an ordinary person, we are all walking since we were 1 year old. Sheesh. It is quite a significant achievement in the realm of artificial intelligence. You may think this isn't as complicated as the robots built by Boston Dynamics, but what DeepMind is up to goes far beyond Boston Dynamics' scope. Instead of simply telling a robot how to walk, DeepMind's AI understands digital limbs. It's learning how to walk and understand its momentum and physical space to overcome tasks in complex environments. It's why humans can rock climb, run hurdles, and walk down the street normally. We're multitasking all the time without knowing that we are. Moving on, the bizarre news of DeepMind learning on its own is both frightening and fascinating. DeepMind's Go-playing program named AlphaGo Zero is so powerful that it developed centuries of human knowledge of the game before inventing better moves of its own, all in 3 days. AlphaGo Zero learned the ancient Chinese board game from scratch and with no human help. In games against the 2015 version, which famously beat Lee Sedol, the South Korean Grandmaster, in the following year, AlphaGo Zero won 100-0. This achievement was a milestone on the road to general-purpose AIs that can do more than beat humans at board games. Because of AlphaGo Zero's ability to learn on its own from scratch, its problem can now be transformed to solve real-world problems that are beyond human comprehension. Former versions of AlphaGo learned their moves by analyzing thousands of games played by human amateurs and professionals. AlphaGo Zero had no such help. Instead, it learned purely by playing itself millions of times over. It placed stones on the Go board at random but swiftly improved as it discovered winning strategies. The program builds up its skill through a technique called reinforcement learning. It is the same method by which humans have learned to master the art of bike riding, etc. When the AlphaGo Zero plays a good move, it is more likely to be rewarded with a win. When it makes a wrong move, it edges closer to a loss. Every loss stores in its memory to not repeat the mistake. The program score is a group of software neurons that form an artificial neural network. The network carefully looks at the pieces' positions on the board and calculates which moves would have the maximum probability of leading to a win. After the game, it updates its neural network, making it a better player. Though far more sophisticated than previous versions, AlphaGo Zero is a simpler program and has mastered the game faster despite training on fewer data and running on a smaller computer. A computational neuroscience professor expressed how impressed she was and stated that AlphaGo discovers better moves beyond human intelligence on this specific game. She pointed out that while it can beat humans at games that involve complex calculations, they are far from matching humans at other tasks. She said AI fails in tasks that are surprisingly easy for humans. Just look at the performance of a humanoid robot in everyday tasks such as walking, running, and kicking a ball. While AlphaGo Zero is a significant achievement, it can only work on problems that can be perfectly modeled in a computer, making tasks such as driving a car out of question. AI that match humans at a vast range of functions are still a long way off. Realistically, in the next few years, the use of AI could extend to help humans discover new drugs and crack mysteries in particle physics. DeepMind is broadening its employee figures, and new AI researchers have been hired in New York in more recent news. Having 1,000 employees worldwide, DeepMind referred to the New York employees as a small group. While it refused to state the exact figure, LinkedIn analysis has suggested around 15 employees working at DeepMind in New York. DeepMind and Facebook AI Research, or FAIR, have been direct rivals in this field since the beginning. Hiring competitive researchers and paying them millions of dollars yearly have allowed both organizations to develop excellent AI programs and facilities. It is about the time that we could solve the mysteries of the universe, and with the help of DeepMind, could understand mind-boggling concepts such as quantum physics in a far more efficient way. For the end part of this video, I would like to reiterate on the Terminator repeating itself. You and I should hope that such power isn't overpowering us and doesn't treat us as its pet. Trust me, we wouldn't want that happening to us. Let's hope for the best and use this technology to make our home planet a better place and understand our position in the universe in a more straightforward way. Lastly, thank you for watching this video. If it made you curious to learn more about artificial intelligence, give us a thumbs up and comment on what you like the most about it. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, while the researchers develop a way to commercialize AI's use. Let's get a bucket of water ready if things get out of our hands. See you in the next video.